without further ado, we're getting right into it. Spawning down to the bottom right. For the Platinum Heroes, it is ArT.
And his opponents in the top left side, the Blue Protoss, fighting for Germany and fighting for Infernales Esports. It is GunGFuBanDa.
And I gotta say, I'm impressed with what I've seen from GunGfu so far. The one match that really stood out to me, I mean, obviously the victory over Clem was stunning and a huge win for him. But the one that really got me as like, wow, good stuff, GunGFuBanDa, is the comebacks he pulled against Harstem. Those were very unexpected, and I gotta say, really kind of caught me unawares.
Okay, I managed to avoid those series, but could you tell me in a little bit, like especially the Clem one as well? I'm wondering, was it just macro games or short games, or what kind of happened there?
It was macro games, and GunGFuBanDa kind of kept on nipping at Clem with disruptors, and the games he won was disruptors where Clem, you know, he couldn't keep track indefinitely. There was constantly zealot pressure everywhere, and finally I think in both the games the decisive moment was one big disruptor shot landing home and just crushing Clem's army. And I mean, when that happens, it's pretty brutal. But we got to talk about this game. We've got ourselves a cheeky pylon.
Well, that could be a potential, well, much of anything in that position, right? Any proxy there is a good proxy.
Yeah, could be a gateway, could be a Stargate, could be a Robo. All of them would be terrifying. And if it were a Stargate, I wouldn't mind if it were Proxy Void Ray, but it is going to be a Robo. Okay, going to be a Robo here. This is tricky as well because for ArT, I don't think I believe like this is like fully disguised right now because GunGFuBanDa sees the second pylon at home. He sees the 2 gateway units were started, and he doesn't see a delayed warp gate. Nothing is quote-unquote missing from this build. Not at first glance, anyways. But yeah, he's got the presence of mind to check this top left corner. That's huge.
That is pretty big. Now, these gateway units of ArT are going to have to just rush over and hopefully just buy time. The good thing for ArT is now that he could potentially start thinking about making some shield batteries in the area as well, since the Robo is so close to the entryway. Gets the sentry. He's gonna lose his Adept and Stalker. But the Immortals should have, you know, at least be done with production before Stalkers kill the Robo. So, is that gonna help him though? Step fast here. We'll see.
I like the idea to go after the probe right there, make sure that no more shield batteries can come on in. I think that was a pretty good trade, actually even a great trade for GunGFuBanDa. We are going to see this Immortal popping out. GunGFuBanDa needs to get out of here. He does let it take 3 shots, so a little bit of a slow reaction time. And now the Stalkers come in from the other side. Okay, GunGFuBanDa, he is going to get body blocked out of his own main base by these units. And that's going to allow the Immortal to shred those Stalkers. But there is high ground advantage for GunGfu. Still, I think this is going amazingly so far for ArT. That overcommitment from GunGFuBanDa on his opponent's pylon may end up being lethal here.
Yeah. Now double the army supply here for ArT available, and well, it's just better army as well. And GunGfu is working on his own Immortals. He's letting this Nexus get as low as possible.
I don't think you can.
Sure if you could, yeah.
Yeah.
You might just want to stick to the high ground.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the big danger right now is the War Prism when it pops out and starts going after gateways. So GunGFuBanDa should be rebuilding those as soon as possible. Ooh, he's actually going to go after it immediately with the Adept. He's got to be a little bit careful about force fields because with no War Prism, he can't, you know, get away from force fields kind of cupping him into the corner. But so far, this is very effective from ArT. He is going to go for a Stargate behind this. I'm surprised he's not just expanding right away, but this is pretty decent so far.
Yeah.
Oh!
It does seem like he may want to try to break it here. He has a good start to it, right? He's slowing down the production now with GunGfu as well.
Yeah.
Tough call to make for GunGfu. How do you get yourself out of here? He's got the 1 shield battery, and that's his 1 boon. And what else does he have? High ground? Kinda.
Yeah, he's got high grounds, he's got the Immortals, but I mean, force fields are used, but instantly kind of nullified by that War Prism. Does put the Immortals barrier on cooldown, but we've already got Phoenixes coming in behind this from ArT. He does start up his expansion. The thing is, Phoenixes will be great against an Immortal drop coming on in. GunGFuBanDa, ooh, he gets his opponent's Observer. That's actually pretty nice. That is a nice find for GunGfu. ArT does need to be a little bit careful here. He doesn't want to find himself getting stunned by his opponent, and this is kind of annoying. The Adept Warpin could go behind the mineral line. GunGFuBanDa, he's got to be a little bit careful right now. Actually, hang on. Are we going to go for the sentries?
Oh, my God. Yes, he is. Okay.
He's going to get...
He'll allow the rest of the army to just walk in there if he wants to.
Yeah, I don't think you want to with this. Okay, 2 of the Adepts do make it out. But I think that's a pretty effective trade right there. Because that weakens any counterattack significantly. And it also makes things a little bit safer for ArT sitting at the bottom of the ramp. He doesn't have to worry about force fields messing his positioning up. Yeah, I like this position for ArT a ton.
Yeah. Especially with the Phoenix here, it does definitely feel quite secure. Well, his production, that's the one thing. He would lose this production, but with the second Nexus up so much quicker, you can make up for that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind to see another Robo built at home. The Phoenixes, right now, he's got 3 Phoenixes on the field. The thing is, if GunGFuBanDa gets too spicy with this War Prism and drops the Immortals, and the Phoenix lift them up, that is going to be a big problem for GunGFuBanDa, because unless they're in range of a shield battery, they will almost certainly go down to the combined Phoenix, Stalker, even Sentry Fire shooting up at those units. Oh, we are going to see the Phoenixes finding this War Prism. He's trying to either drop some units to the low ground to outflank this, or maybe get some Adepts across the map, because he actually can't warp in really anything on his opponent's side of the map. He's going to start up a Robotics Bay. I just don't think that's going to cut it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I guess Disruptors are going to be the attempt here. But, oh, man, he has the War Prism. The Phoenix are an everlasting threat, but I do think he had options of maybe just a probe going across the map for Warping Python or something, get the depths going there. I don't know. Well, we'll see how the conclusion is of these 2 players. Now, there's the lift-ups on the Immortals, and what else is there for GunGfu to do?
It's time for him to tap out, I think, pretty much. The Phoenixes, they can just relift those Immortals again, and with that, GG gets called. Very well done by ArT. And I was like, oh man, I'd like to see him expand a little bit faster, but no, wasn't necessary. Wasn't necessary at all. Those Phoenixes were the perfect answer to everything that GunGFuBanDa did. Fantastic game number 1 out of ArT. And GunGFuBanDa, well, he's... I mean, if you look at the standings, you would say, oh, this is an easy win for GunGFuBanDa. But realistically, I would say that this is pretty even on paper.
Yeah, I think you're right. And in particular with the PvP right now, just so many people go one base anything, aggression still, and like we saw here as well, right? The proxy robo. If you don't scout it, you could be in a world of trouble. And if you try to take every single measure you could to avoid ever dying to that ever, you're gonna lose to macro play. So it's a tough matchup right now with that, but I guess proxies have always just kind of been the rule of thumb in PvP.
Yes, yeah, they're never a bad idea, realistically speaking. They always have the ability to mess your opponent up, and funnily enough, I feel like the 1-gate expand actually defends proxies a lot more effectively than the 2-gate setup. Like 2 gates. Particularly because, especially against like proxy robo, it can be very difficult to defend. Even with the scout, even with the very early scout right there, it was still ArT getting a lot done. Now, part of that was GunGFuBanDa overcommitting and staying a little bit too long attacking that pylon. That made his defense of the natural impossible. But we'll see if he can make some adjustments heading into game number 2, as we have spawning down in the bottom right. Currently down 1-0. It is Infernales Esports GunGFuBanDa.
In the top left side, the Polish Red Brodels. He is fighting for Platinum Heroes, ArT.
And something quite interesting here, we've got a low ground pylon from ArT on one of the 2 maps in the pool that doesn't actually have a high ground, or like a high ground at the natural, doesn't have a ramp at the natural. So very funky that he's going for that.
Yeah, he's gonna try to make it work regardless. And you know, we know people can make it work. I believe Max Specs as well. Sometimes I've seen him do it. But we'll see. We'll see if this is gonna be punished in any way. Like, if GunGFu is already going kind of his strategy, his own way, right, and his probe is not that entirely quickly across the map, it can be a bit difficult for him to be like, you know what, let me just swift my plans because you decided to put your wall where I had not envisioned it to be previously. Might still happen.
Yeah, this is... I actually love this from ArT because the more I think about this, the more I remember that GunGFuBanDa has been going for late scouts. He's been going for extremely late scouts, and on the 1 of 2 maps out of the 7 where there's no ramp at the natural, you would not be expecting this 1-gate expand. Now, what makes this 1-gate expand, you know, not quite as powerful, just a little bit less strong, is the fact that a quick scout means that you can't go gate Nexus. If you can go gate Nexus in this matchup, it is a tremendous advantage. It is massive economically, especially against a 2-gate. So the fact that ArT was able to get away with the 1-gate expo, and it was a response to, as far as I can tell, a response to GunGFuBanDa's scouting patterns, this is phenomenal right now for ArT in terms of eco. GunGFuBanDa will need to find a way to equalize this.
Yeah, trying to do so with the Stargate. Probably going to be an Oracle here quite quickly. ArT's already on 1 Stalker, 2nd Stalker on the way. Probably will persistently build Stalkers here, I imagine. So he should have 3 Stalkers. If they're at the right place at the right time, he's even getting a shield battery here. Yeah, like, against 1 Oracle, he should be okay. Is GunGFu gonna try to harvest up 2 Oracles? Now, that's another question.
I think that would be a nice move. This is a nice move, by the way, from GunGFuBanDa. He is going to intercept this probe that wants to see if there's an expansion at the natural. And this probe will not get the relevant scouting information. The Stalker being there is maybe a little bit of a tell that your opponent's really trying to deny that scout. But it is going to force out the Chrono Boost on the robotics facility and the Immortal. And with, I mean, fortunately for ArT, he's still building probes. But GunGFuBanDa is going to be able to at least make a bit of a play towards catching up here with this. That's a nice little move from GunGFuBanDa. There's no shield battery here in the main. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh goodness me. This is going to be so much damage potentially. Oh, okay, Stalkers do get back in time. He got there in the nick of time, and actually, wow, never mind. He doesn't even lose a single probe. He's already trapped this Oracle.
How?
Wow, those Stalkers were like... They were like Boromir running to defend the Hobbits in Fellowship of the Ring. Just absolutely with the interception right there. That was perfect. Wow.
There must have been some potential to still get 1 or 2, right? But I guess it's GunGFu. Little slip there, perhaps, with the Oracle. But, I mean, yeah. It's rough. Once you already get hit by those 3 Stalkers initially, and then... You know, it happens one more time, it's just like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, because 9 shots kills an Oracle, 9 Stalker shots kills an Oracle from full HP. He got 6 shots with the first 3 Stalkers. 3 really is the magic number to deal with Oracles, and like 2 will push them away, 3 will punish them if they commit at all. So great stuff right there from ArT. He knew the timing to the absolute second, and I'm blown away by that. That was an excellent defense. ArT now takes his 3rd Nexus much quicker. The probe count is equalized, but we'll see as this 3rd Nexus advantage gets realized, he'll get further and further ahead. The one thing GunGFuBanDa has going for him is this +1 weapons.
All right. Yeah. Do you think you should try to make an attack happen with that then, or do you think you should just try to play the catch-up here, try to go for a 3rd Nexus himself, maybe play defensive, and then, you know, let that advantage that ArT build up right now kind of diminish over time, you know? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think since he saw the third Nexus early enough, he can build his own third Nexus in response. He is going to be behind, no doubt of that. Oh, Stasis Ward. That's got to be defensive, right? Where did he? Okay, yeah, you popped it out at the front of third base. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing a Stasis Ward in the middle line. But all the Oracles are at home. Yeah, there was... ArT is definitely ahead, but GunGFuBanDa can still play out of this. And if he can, you know, maybe hit a +1 timing or something like that, it could be palatable for him. Now, this is actually very interesting out of GunGFuBanDa. He starts up charge first. This could be an indication that he might want to go for like a +1 charge timing and see if he can kind of smash through ArT. The problem for GunGFuBanDa, though, is that he's been getting supply blocked pretty brutally, actually. One at 78 and now again at 86. And that is slowing down his probe production significantly. He is still throwing down gateways and a Templar archive, so I do think he's got aggression on the mind. But even with ArT going for Blink first, his charge is not going to be that far behind GunGFuBanDa's. GunGFuBanDa is going to need to hit a very sharp timing if he wants to make use of it. And with +2 already starting up, I think he might just be... I think that might not even be his plan.
Yeah. Especially because, like, maybe if he throws down more gateways, right? But if the production is similar and you're the one being aggressive, I don't know if just the one upgrade advantage will be enough to overcome the defender's advantage with the shield batteries and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it actually is kind of funny that I mentioned the +1 charge timing, because it looks like ArT is actually going to try and hit that +1 charge timing himself. He has got that upgrade finished. He's got now 8 gateways to 6. It is actually more gateways in favor of ArT. He does realize this economic advantage that he's held for so long, and he actually stopped workers a little bit earlier, so his power spike is quite a bit higher. These stasis wards need to be huge. Oh, and that's a big one to start things off.
That's a minefield right there. That is not something ArT can really participate in right now, especially with a charge wall. It's very difficult.
Oh, Ward Prism gets sniped. That's huge.
Maybe a bit too far forwards there, away from the other ones, but I guess he does want to kind of push away the army so he can try to kill Stalkers as they leave.
Great job. Great job, by the way, from GunGFuBanDa. Got a couple of probes on the other side of the map while this attack was coming in. Oh, ArT on the move command. Oh, no. That is a really painful set of losses. And ArT, he still has an army supply lead, but now his +2 weapons is quite a bit behind. He took a lot of losses for very little gain right there. If you look at the battle report, lost over 1,000 resources more, including a few of those relatively valuable Stalkers, the War Prison, which means more robo time. That just was a pretty brutal engagement from ArT. And you mentioned it, the minefield of stasis wars. Phenomenal out of GunGFuBanDa. And actually, now he's going to go for a +2 timing.
I don't know if that's going to work. At least he caught up with the overall worker count. His 4th base is a bit later, so the mining will still go into favor for ArT. So that's another slight detail here, which could make you believe that ArT is in a more favorable position. And then you look at what kind of tech is being developed. Is anyone working their way towards disruptors yet? I don't think so, right?
No, but GunGFuBanDa thinks that ArT is. Because he's going double Stargate Phoenix. That's an extremely bold thing to do blindly. Especially after you've seen your opponent going for Charge Lot Archon as their composition. GunGFuBanDa making a read, and, well, the book, it seems like, might be in a different language.
Yeah, it might feel a little bit silly showing up with all those Phoenix when there's Archons and Zealots in this army composition.
In low numbers, Phoenixes actually shred Zealots. They're so good against Zealots. But the Archons and Stalkers are going to have something to say about that. These Oracles did get a little bit of damage done, and they're actually going to find a small opening on the 4th base, but they run out of energy. Here comes a big engagement, though. These Phoenixes are going to lift Immortals. That's kind of neat. But the Zealots clashing in the middle. I think ArT might just have a few more. There's no battery overcharge coming on in. ArT does have a slightly better concave. Upgrades are even. Oh, and the observer for ArT survived with so minimal HP. It's hard to tell who came out ahead in that engagement. I think it was pretty much a wash. Was battery overcharged used by GunGFuBanDa? No, it was not. So if ArT pushes in to either of the positions at the natural or the third, could still go very well for GunGFuBanDa.
Moving in again, those Archons looking a little bit exposed as the Immortals are moving further forwards, but the Stalker count here for ArT just seems impeccable.
Yeah,
however.
This is kind of a funky engagement because the Stalkers are far in the back for ArT. That means the Immortals for GunGFuBanDa don't get to add too much DPS or value to the fight. When they're shooting Archons, they're not getting they're not living their best life, as it were. And now this is kind of funny because GunGFuBanDa did go for the double Stargate before, but he lost all those Phoenixes, and now ArT has actually gone for the double Disruptor play. Nice blink to the side. Does grab one of the Archons from ArT. GunGFuBanDa got to be a little bit careful. There are still a couple of Immortals here for ArT, so he doesn't want to lose his own Stalkers too easily. ArT is doing a good job of representing threat on the map without really overcommitting, and if he gets up to like 5 Disruptors, and there's no counter coming in from GunGFuBanDa, this could just very easily, like, end.
Good. Especially with aggressive blinks like that, and then suddenly there's the Disruptor there. Careful, GunGfu.
I kind of wish that ArT had kept his Disruptors back until he had, like, 4 or 5, because now the Revelation reveals it. Oh, the War Prism's going to go down there. Huge pick-off. And now GunGFuBanDa gets to rebuild Phoenixes. This is actually going to be a potentially terrible engagement here for ArT. GunGFuBanDa is going to blink forward, will grab the Disruptor. Disruptor got a little bit of damage done. Immortals of GunGFuBanDa are going to try and hit the Immortals of ArT and will get some great value there. It's a bit of a surround from GunGFuBanDa, and ArT's army basically just collapsed right there. GunGFuBanDa takes a great engagement, and ArT, I mean, he lost all of his important tech in just about all of his army and all of the advantage he'd built up throughout the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely felt like GunGfu taking out a bigger chunk there. Doesn't quite feel like he had enough left to really commit to a counter-attack. Hence why he is staying on the back foot himself as well. I can imagine that he may want to look into his Phoenix numbers again a little bit, right? Considering there's now Disruptors on the other side of the field. He wants to be ready for that attack before he starts making his own counter plays here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And to that end, he is building double Phoenix at a time right now. The thing is, the Phoenixes, in a situation like this, they don't need to kill the Disruptors. If they literally just interrupt the shots and die instantly after that, they have done their job because they put the Disruptor shot on cooldown, they've canceled the shot, and now the rest of the engagement is, you know, like they've done their job. They've done their job, and then GunGFuBanDa's army can do the rest. And GunGFuBanDa's rest of his army beats ArT's rest of his army by, at this point, considering the army supplies, a lot. Those Disruptors need to get massive shots to make up for the losses ArT has suffered.
The Phoenix really has a thankless job, don't they? In a lot of cases, their job is to just go in, do something very quickly and die. With Widowmines as well, it's even worse, I suppose.
Yeah.
But no, well.
It's the you pass butter of jobs there.
It really is.
Oh, this is
be a Phoenix pilot.
This is interesting. ArT is now going into Colossus. GunGFuBanDa is going rather heavy on Zealots, but I mean, I guess it's trying to get some value out of the robotics facility, knowing that his opponent's gone Phoenix. Phoenix do take a long time to kill Colossus, and if they're all diving in on top of your opponent's army, it can give you an opportunity to get something done. Behind this, we do have ArT. He is going to be getting up to a 6th base a lot quicker. GunGFuBanDa, he's got his own thoughts. He's got his own plans for this game. He adds on a fleet beacon. Might be thinking about a quick mothership, considering the fact that there's no... Actually, no, he is on double Stargate. It could be... we'll see in a little bit. We'll see in a little bit.
Oh, I like this stuff. Let's go down the mothership. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Oh, this
see it too. Oh,
this
wow,
Zealot.
That's big engagement right there. That's all. That is a dead Nexus.
Yeah, GunGFuBanDa caught ArT completely out of position. He just gets a free base kill. And this is the high-yield gas base, so that's actually a pretty big deal that GunGFuBanDa has it and ArT does not. That's going to be just more efficient gas mining. Okay, it will be a carrier transition. And yeah, I forgot that he's on double Stargate. At this point, though, he actually needs to start trading out supply, and there we go. He actually kills off a couple of his own Zealots and maybe a probe in order to free a little bit of supply for the second carrier. This is going to be tough. We got ArT trying to answer the carrier transition himself, but it will be a little bit difficult to do so. Ooh, DTs. They do have Blink, and they do have +3. They are going to be scary.
I'm hoping to see some more of the Tempest. That was what we saw as well, right? The previous time on the B stream with us too. I don't remember who the players were. I just remember that the lovely Tempest versus Carrier fights. Got blown away by just the potential of the Tempest right there.
Yeah, if you micro perfectly with the Tempest, you can absolutely wreck face with them. They are so powerful, so strong. Nice revelation coming in right there. This is going to actually trap the DTs. Now, here's an interaction I don't know about. Oh, we do see an engagement coming on in. The stasis wards have been such MVPs for GunGFuBanDa throughout all this. Does the revelation wear off during the... I'm not sure. We'll see if it recloaks, because it was put on pretty quickly. This is another 99% useless fact.
Let's say if it shouldn't. I'd say it should stay.
Oh, right? It wears off. It does wear off, and that actually doesn't impact the fight at all. Meanwhile, those Stalkers got surrounded in the middle, all of them taken out. It will be Tempest and a Mothership, but, I mean, GunGFuBanDa, like, the rest of his army is just so powerful, and his bank is so big that unless the Tempest can really start to pick... Like, he needs to get up to, like, 5 or 6 Tempests and get an Oracle for Revelation, and he needs to be able to pick away at those carriers for a decent bit of time. The other thing is Mass Phoenix also actually kicks the crap out of Tempests. Yeah,
that doesn't surprise me.
Oh.
How many Stargates is GunGFuBanDa? It's only 2, so... I mean, going Mass Phoenix might still be difficult.
Yeah, he need to get up to, like, 4 or 5. And he is adding a 3rd. He's getting that Anion Pulse Crystals. He watched that game between King Cobra and... was it DNS or Shadown? I think it was... Yeah, it was Shadown. It was on Data C. Yeah, so that was where Tempest tried to counter the carriers, and then King Cobra spotted it and went Mass Phoenix himself with the Anion Pulse Crystals. And as hard as Tempest beat carriers, Phoenixes beat Tempest like 2.5 to 3 times harder than that. Like, they absolutely beat the living hell out of them.
Yep. Yeah, so it's great to see that he is aware of this Tempest army starting to build up. GunGFu even taking the top right base that he's been taking away from ArT so many times now. A little bit of a role reversal in this corner right here. As those Phoenix numbers grow, so do the Tempest numbers. But ArT's army, actually, his supply was very low right there. Building 3 more carriers, and he's only at 180. So, like, his actual supply right now is very low in comparison to GunGFu.
Yeah, he tried to get something done with a run-by. He was definitely looking to trade this out, but he did lose a lot. Ooh, he recalls to the base, has to kill his own cannon to unlock the disruptors. Now, the Mothership is a significant advantage potentially in this fight, especially since GunGFuBanDa doesn't have anything that can range it down effectively like those Tempests. This is going to be a very complicated and bizarre army. Recall was used, though, and ArT didn't realize that GunGFuBanDa rotated his whole army. This is going to be basically another free base kill with a fair number of probes, a lot of static defense, and the Dark Shrine here, all basically going down for free. Nice little spotter zealot from GunGFuBanDa, sees the army rotate from ArT, and he can just get away, basically only losing some zealots towards the tail end. And to be honest, he's more than happy to trade those out for more powerful units.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's so well said as well. Like, with the rotation, getting the recall there, then just rotating back up to the other corner. Coming in, finding that opportunity. Is he going to find more here? You got to be so careful with those disruptors. Tempest, too. It's like, if he just keeps losing carriers like this, that is scary territory.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He does lose one carrier right there, almost as it felt like an afterthought, because it went down so quickly and so easily to just this army from ArT that felt like it was lazily chasing. That's not to say, you know, ArT's a lazy player. It's just, you look at the Tempest and they're so slow and lumbering, or at least they feel that way, and then they just plunk a carrier out of the sky so easily.
That he's just here again. He's just like, yeah, no,
God.
This happens again, right? Yeah, no, yeah, it does.
Yeah, GunGFuBanDa has been controlling this. Actually, no, this is ArT controlling the watchtower. Wait, so did he just see this army and just lose track of it anyways? Ooh, DT's coming in on the bottom side. No detection available at the moment. He loses an Archon right there. Revelation will allow him to get Oh my god, does he really only get one DT?
This army of GunGfu is going pretty ham now, starting to get close to the production already. Some of it rushed out, so this could turn into just a base race situation.
Yeah, in terms of whose army is more powerful, I actually think ArT might have the better army right now because he has more Tempest. GunGfu is trying to add them on right now. I wonder if GunGFuBanDa will go for a recall at any point. He does have those Phoenix. Oh, wow. Another recall being used, actually, by ArT. And he is going to catch a lot of these carriers that are rather exposed. They're going to go down so quickly and easily. But they will kind of rendezvous with the rest of the army. As long as GunGFuBanDa gets out of here without losing too much, this has gone amazingly for him. He has killed... Actually, if he just rotates down to the bottom, he'll kill basically all of his opponent's mining bases. Save this little one. Oh, the Tempest. Oh my god, they're so exposed. The Archon Blast are actually going to kill one.
Just sending like a couple of Archons with those Stalkers, just to be like, you can't chase me with just Tempest. That's not how this is going to go. Playing it safe is, I mean, if he loses that too easily, that's still going to be a pain. But lets the rest of his army escape pretty much untouched while getting this Nexus as well. So, nice little play there. Sending more attacks across the northern side of the map as well. GunGfu has taken control of this map so far, and he's just got to really worry about this one army of ArT one more time.
Yeah, and with that Tempest count continuing to build and build and build, he is now outnumbering his opponent's Tempest. He's got the +3 weapons versus +2, and in fact, ArT had his +3 delayed. Oh, +1 armor was at 1.1 seconds to finishing. These DTs getting monstrous damage done. We will see a couple of carriers being exposed on the bottom side, but there are the Tempests revealing selves. They're going to 1-2 volley down the mothership, and now... we just need to see GunGFuBanDa effectively microing and targeting down his opponent's air units with these Tempests, and it should be an open and shut case for him to close out this game. He will have to do so, but so far he is doing an excellent job with the target fire.
Yeah, staying away from those Archons as well, very important, as those Tempests are clumped up, and they will go down rather quickly there if they were just to fly on top of the Archons. So
yeah.
Good micro there. Great micro, the DT's cleaning up everything on the other side as well. Now coming back, and I think that's it, man. We're going into game number 3.
Oh, absolutely. This is all she wrote. A very bizarre and technical, lot of like weird, half-informed decisions coming in from both players, and it made for a lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of moments where it was like, what do you do? What's the exact right reasoning here? Where should we try to apply those pressures? And, well, wonderful stuff. We're going to get another one of those games.
That we are. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one shakes out once again as we get into the, as you said, the next game. For now, it's going to be a good time. It is going to be a phenomenal time.
Yeah, didn't really get to see that many of the Phoenix. I suppose the Archon numbers really were at fault there for not allowing the Phoenix numbers to really be built up, which makes sense.
Yeah,
but that would have been still cool to see as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're going to be getting into game number 3 in just a little bit here. It will be on Data C. It's been a very fun match so far. That's yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
1-1 now. One ending with a little bit of a cheeky play, right? With the proxy robo right there in the backside, and working out for ArT. Second game, you know, I guess he tried to take a little bit of a sneaky economic advantage, and it just really didn't work out for him. Didn't really get him into the same position, even after that Oracle defense, which was impeccable.
It was a phenomenal defense. It went very well for him, to be honest. So the fact that after all that, it went so off the rails is kind of wild. Yeah. Let's see how this game number 3 goes, though. I'm looking forward to this one. Can't wait to see how it resolves itself. As we have spawning up at the top right for Infernalis Esports, it is GunGFuBanDa.
And his opponents in the red color. He is also a Protoss player from Poland, of course. Platinum Heroes, ArT.
And once again, we're seeing high ground versus low ground gateway. This time, GunGFuBanDa does go for the much quicker setup here. He's gone for the much quicker play with the probe scout. So it's going to be just a better setup overall.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to make things a hell of a lot more effective here. He's not going to have to deal with the very quick scout from his opponent. Or, sorry, the very quick gate nexus from his opponent. That's good news. That's already a better economic position for GunGFuBanDa heading into the, I guess, the mid-game.
Yep. A bit of a letdown, of course. Nothing being proxied here. I'm always hoping for that, but
yeah,
it's all right. It's all right. We'll live with it. We know that at least it's still an absolute terror in the mind of these players, right? It still plays a role in the background, regardless of whether or not anyone is actually doing it.
Oh yeah, no. The proxy, the potential of a proxy is always going to be. It's always going to play a factor, like you said. Players have to be extra. They have to be extra cognizant of that. We're going to be seeing, by the way, double adept out of GunGFuBanDa. He is not the kind of player to do what like Harston will do and cut a gateway unit in order to get a quicker nexus. He's going to take advantage of the fact that he's got these gateways. Adepts are, of course, the cheapest option, so you can still go for a quick nexus behind this, and I think that's going to be what he goes for here. Blocking his opponent's probe into the main base to make sure that the pylon cannot get down, and that he can kill that probe without a problem. So I like this little move from GunGFuBanDa, and it's probably one of the better responses to this, but it's still going to be a much better economic position for ArT heading into that mid-game.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe those adepts are going to get lucky and zap their way into the probe line, which could equal it out a little bit here, but I mean, that's a big what if, right? With that low ground wall right there, already a good chunk of gateway units available for ArT as well. It's hard to see it work, and I'm not seeing any other kind of real attempts being made here. Well, actually, there's the Robo right now. That could lead into a War Prism or something of the sorts.
Yeah, it could be potentially a decision to try and get a very quick War Prism and maybe drop some Adepts in the main base. That can be a cool move. We used to see an old school move against players that would go heavy sentry, where they'd build. We actually saw kind of ArT attempt it earlier, but the sentries were a little bit too far forward from his opponent, so he wasn't able to get too much done with that. But we sometimes see 4 Adepts, and then you shade them in, jump on the sentries, snipe 1 or 2 of them down, and then lift up those units with the War Prism and save those Adepts.
No.
Because
it would be pretty cool.
yeah, it's a very neat play. Ooh, speaking of kind of cool, we got a very fast charge out of ArT. Hang on, is he just gonna go ham with a bunch of zealots?
It could be the case. Normally you would see a War Prism with this as well, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. But then I think, like, if people do go just absolutely ham with zealots off of 2 base, I think I've seen it against Zergs and Terran, but I don't know if I've seen it against Protoss. I'm trying to think here. I'm racking my brain, but I don't... Not without Archons, right?
No, it's very
Not without
bizarre.
Archons.
Yeah. The quick charge... Yeah, I'm curious about it. It looks like it will, in fact, be, by the way, this very fast War Prism to drop these Adepts, but nice interception here from ArT. He finds this War Prism. GunGFuBanDa still is going to be able to unload these Adepts, and in fact, he's probably going to find a lot of probes. There's only 1 stock in the main base. Nice body block. That was a... Oh my god, the sentry. Oh, the defense.
What? Jeez Louise, ArT. My goodness.
That was absolutely brilliant.
We need a cigarette now after that.
Yeah.
Oh my.
That was exceptionally done.
That was nice. That was nice. With the pylon mapping and the force fields. Very good stuff. Yeah. And now he has... GunGfu didn't really get a good insight as to what's happening here for ArT, right? But ArT's making a 3rd base. So it has me a bit confused. Maybe it's this way to just kind of get himself securely set up into the Zealot Archon. And if he ever does get attacked by like a Gateway Immortal something, anything, right? He does have just a bunch of Zealots available with charge, which does okay against that.
I think this was going to be an all-in out of ArT. I'm almost certain of it, in fact, with basically a fake third Nexus, which is funny because he's actually up 6 workers. Or maybe he was... I don't know, actually. I actually have no idea. Because I mean, that is like the leftover of getting the quicker Nexus, is those workers being ahead. Even with 3 more workers going down, he's still up in workers at this point.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to go for heavy aggression with this. He still could if he just pops out. Actually, no, he's already got a War Prism. No, this is going to be a pretty heavy commitment to aggression nonetheless. He's still on 7 gateways. The charge lots are going to be scary to deal with. There's really not a lot that deals with these charge lots for GunGFuBanDa. This actually has a ton of kill potential. If the Archons break the force fields, and those Zealots get on top of the Stalkers and Immortals of GunGFuBanDa.
Oh, this is so smart. Just putting down some gateways here. I love this. I don't know if he's doing. I don't know how aware he is of the army composition of his opponent, but he must be a little bit aware, right? Because these gateways here are going to work out so great against those Zealots. You're just going to be putting all your units in between. The War Prism in the main base with the Zealots as well. So probes are going to go down, regardless. And I even think it would be okay for ArT to just kind of pull away with these. Now it might be too late with the Stalkers jumping on top of you.
Oh, kind of nice. Well, actually, great force fields right there from ArT. Close enough to keep the units pinned to the Archon, but far enough that the Archon didn't break the force fields. Now, I think we've got a DT on the other side of the map that is getting some damage done. Yeah. But it will get dealt with. War Prism, ooh, he tries to snipe it, but he can't. He loses the Nexus in the main base. Oh, okay, he will get this War Prism. That's good. Zealots are going to be able to at least trade out a little bit against the leftover Zealots of GunGFuBanDa. This was a very successful attack. Obviously, sniping a main Nexus is not as valuable in the later stages, but there's still a ton of resources in this main base. Both players were only on 3 bases. This is a great position for ArT now. I feel like this is now his game to lose.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's looking good overall. Well, the +1 attack for GunGfu is kind of nice. He could start up his +2, but I'm not even sure if that would be a good choice, as he is behind in the economy game and his army supply already anyway. Could be kind of scary trying to get your upgrades going at this point in time. Yeah, I think GunGfu has really got a hammer. He still has the Dark Shrine? He still has the Dark Shrine. I see that as his one ticket out of here, right?
Yeah, maybe a quick DT Blink follow-up would have been really nice, and then maybe try and snipe like the 4th base or sneak into the natural expansion, maybe even build a 2nd War Prism and like slip it around the map and then, you know, drop 4 DTs on this cannon, try and warp in some Zealots in the main base. But it is going to be tricky because ArT now does have his own Blink done. This is another option that's probably a little bit more straightforward, is going into Disruptors. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's...
2 did hurt. He's going double Disruptors here.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. He realizes. Oh, okay. He was trying to build a Robo. Okay. Just a small misstep. But if he can get up to like 4 Disruptors, I mean, that can definitely help him stabilize. If ArT just decides to attack right now, though, that is going to be an extremely scary situation for GunGFuBanDa. We do have these DTs trying to come in to the 3rd base, but ArT responsibly has a cannon in every mineral line. 1 DT is not going to break through a cannon and a shield battery. If he can find this pylon, I guess that's not 0 damage.
He is getting ready, knocking on the door. GunGfu has to be wary. Does have 30 less army supply over his opponent, and, well, some of it is on a mission across the map as well. So, I guess there's warp-ins here being forced. Actually pretty good for him.
Yeah.
For 1 Dark Templar to get 4 Stalkers here to warp in, right? And just having 4 Stalkers here, actually, that could be big.
It could be big, but I think ArT realizes with that great gateway wall that you pointed out earlier that he really doesn't want to move in, at least not from that angle, and he's already, I mean, he's on 4 Nexus versus 3. No reason to force the issue there, especially in a position like that on Data C. He might actually catch his opponent before he rotates back in, but no, it looks like he's not going to have, like... He doesn't know where his opponent's army is, so he doesn't know that he's... GunGFuBanDa's a little bit out of position, but it looks like ArT is now the one doing what GunGFuBanDa did in the previous game, which is to say, going for that double Stargate Phoenix. And that is... Well, that is going to be difficult for GunGfu to contest, because he does not have any of his own Archons. He does have a ton of Blink Stalkers, but... I'm feeling a little bit worried right now for GunGFuBanDa. ArT is really... He is really set up for this game nicely, and there we go. There's the Fleet Beacon coming on down. Would love a 3rd Stargate, and maybe even a 5th Nexus. He knows his opponent is playing defensively. Oh, these Phoenixes, though, they kind of rally into their death. ArT takes a huge Disruptor shot. One of them does... I think he canceled the second one, so that's actually pretty nice. He manages to kill off that Disruptor. Force fields are going to be laid down on top of the Archons. Won't get anything done. And ArT is going to kind of try and force the issue here. He's got to be careful. He blinks out on top of the Disruptor, but the Disruptor shots are going to land home. GunGFuBanDa actually not placing them as well as he could, but the battery overcharge is going to be quite good. A very messy engagement from both sides, but this will favor GunGFuBanDa so massively. ArT was so deep. Why did he go that far in against a battery overcharge?
I guess the math just works out differently in his head, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
in a way, it makes sense. He just thought, like, well, I dealt so much economic damage to you, I'm just gonna max out, and then I'm gonna kill you. But I don't think he ever assessed the situation when he got, you know, to GunGFuBanDa's base and thought, you know, came to the correct conclusion that maybe there's actually a little bit too much for GunGfu that still managed to build up here. Especially with those Disruptors shots hitting, and then he still commits afterwards, right?
Yeah. And there was more rally Disruptor shots that got a good amount of work done. Like, that felt like ArT lost 1 or 2 Phoenix on the rally, and then just panicked and just said, I have to kill you right this instant. And it's like, well, no, actually, you don't. That's... You're the one with the tech advantage, going into carriers, going into now the mothership. You're the one with the faster 4th base. Like, ArT really didn't need to do anything there, and he would have still been ahead. Now, I mean, at worst, the game... like, at worst for GunGFuBanDa, the game is reset. At best, he's, like, a little bit ahead. I will say, if he doesn't attack and realize, like, you know, like, take advantage of his big army advantage pretty soon, the carrier count will become a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, but I really like what you said there just now. I'll go back to that later, as this might be the final moments here for ArT. Stalkers running in, Disruptors moving forwards, claiming space, and there they go. Whoosh. More great shots right there. Another Archon, half HP. There we go. And the Nexus goes down for ArT this time. Really wasn't anticipating this, but yeah, I think you were right with saying that perhaps ArT just thought that this was his best shot that he would get. Actually, he might still have an opportunity here to clear this out. Ah, those Disruptor shots, however. Landing on top of the Zealots, and then the Stalkers, nice being backwards. That's just wonderfully managed there by GunGfu.
Perfect way to describe that. Wonderfully managed. It was a really nice flank attempt coming in from ArT, but the Disruptor shots absolutely ruined the day. GunGFuBanDa kind of got caught a little bit and didn't panic in the slightest, and in fact, it made it look like he was the one that caught ArT Zealots, as opposed to the other way around, you know, like...
Exactly.
GunGFuBanDa has just been cool as a cucumber throughout pretty much all of his run. Now, he doesn't finish the game, and he actually doesn't even kill the Nexus, which is very surprising, because he had the opportunity to. If he'd focused and fired it a little bit more... If he'd focused on killing that a little bit more, he could have probably gotten that. He did kill at least 1 carrier. With a mothership, it could be a little bit dicey if he loses this Observer, but the Observer does survive. Carrier gets left exposed, will lose that, and he's going to lose the mothership potentially as well. Battery overcharge, not enough to keep that alive, and Disruptor shots on the backfield, getting huge damage. Carrier goes down as well, and GunGFuBanDa, he keeps poking in and just obliterating portions of ArT's army, and then he'll just back out, like, just like with a little tee-hee.
Yeah. Yeah.
like
get the value. Bye.
like he takes the selfie, like, felt cute, might destroy 30 supply of Sky Toss.
It is a bit brutal right now, but yeah, it just was wonderfully played there by GunGfu, and I liked what you said. I think that was the real moment here where ArT attacked GunGfu on his full space, I think it was. When you mentioned that ArT may have felt like this was his best shot. If you really respect your opponent, like you may have this situation where it's like, oh my god, I got myself in a really good position. How did I do this? I need to prioritize. I need to make sure that, you know, we take advantage of that and actually use that moment and actually get the victory going. And who knows if that opportunity will present itself later down the line. And going in here once more, disruptors are going absolutely ham. There's just too many stalkers as well. And GG is called.